when emotions are high, I'm sure that Philly crowd was saying all kinds of stuff, to you guys throughout. It's not like you just pop off like that, right? And like a lot of people said in this documentary, backing you up, Max just isn't like that to go and try to approach some stranger in the crowd. They had never seen that side of you. So what triggered you to go into that stands in that Philly game?
Well, no disrespect to our veterans, but I've never been in war, but that's the closest I've been. And I was just on edge. We were playing that series and we were down. It was a 6th game in Philly. We were down early in that game. Philly crowd going crazy. We could never get any leverage, a foothold. And I got knocked into the stands by Daryl Dawkins, into this guy. And when I ran into him, you could clearly see I bumped into him. He's like, get back in the fucking game. And I jumped over this photographer, but by the time it registered what was said, I was like, oh shit, oh hell no. So I just flew back in there with a vengeance, man. It was crazy. It was crazy. I didn't know.
Must have been so shocked.
And once I finished, I was like, all my teammates asked me like, yo man, what happened? And you could easily see me going, man, fuck that shit, and let's play. And there wasn't any.
That's in the past. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, there weren't any NBA rules about kicking me out of the game, and we were down at that time. I think we were down probably by like 16. And then the other thing that happened was that it was a guy, Dave Zinkoff, who is the great public address announcer for the 76ers, goes on and says, just before all that happened, he goes on and says, tickets will go on sale right after this game. It wasn't even over, wasn't he? And and then that just cranked us up that much more. We've got on edge that much more. And that's all I remember. I just remember it. And it was really crazy because it was one of those things where once it happened and I was dribbling the basketball or I touched the basketball, I know how Kyrie felt. I know because people were boo, I touched the ball, I score, I do whatever I did, the people started booing me. And I had never had that before, that kind of hatred towards me. And once it happened, remember the great Chuck Daly was there. He was assistant coach for Billy Cunningham. And behind the bench, there was a black gentleman. It was a black dude, probably maybe around about my age. And he was talking loud noise. He said, man, I'll come out there, I'll kick your ass. I said, dude, if you come out on this court, you're going to get the worst ass beating that you ever want to see. And Chuck Daly he heard all this and he said, whoa, Cornbread. Now, Max, that man right there, he's a killer. And I turned to Chuck Daly and they looked him in the eye and looked that dude in the eye. I said, Chuck, and went up to him real close. I said, I'm a killer. And Chuck Daly said, carry on. Dude, I was on edge. It looked like I was, when you said Custer was at the Big Horn and all the Indians were coming at him. I felt like that. I just felt like that way, like whatever you want to do, man. As far as you want to go, if I got to die up in here right now, so be it. This will be my last game, but it's on and popping.
Well, that's it though. It sparked a comeback. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you just backs against the wall, you react like that. You're like, you know what? I gotta back this shit up. And that's exactly what you did, and triggering that comeback. So that was documented as well. Not only the event, but what happened after it. It sparked a big comeback from you guys in Philadelphia, which in those years was not an easy place to play.
Well, it wasn't for us. We had lost some crazy number of 15 games or something in a row to the 76ers at their home. So for us to come back in that game in that particular game, being down by 15, 16 points, and you come back in it, it was absolutely, we galvanized as a team. And like I said, we just had a spark. We had a resolve. And you can see the plays that were happening. Guys were getting knocked off the ball. It was as physical basketball as it could be. Guys throwing cups of water. It wasn't a basketball game. It was rollerball. We were just like, whatever you want to do, dude. Whatever you want to do, wherever you want to take it, that's where we're gonna go.
Do you feel like it was sort of that benchmark where it was like, okay, we beat these guys, we're beating anybody in the finals? Like, it had that feel to it?
Yeah, oh, definitely. When we beat Philly, we knew we were going to win the championship. We knew we were going to win. And I think everybody else knew that we were going to win. I think as much as Houston played, Houston was not as good as we were. And we were going to beat them, and we're going to win the championship. Now, who was going to lead us, that was a whole nother story. Like I said, because Larry just didn't have a good shooting game. But here's the thing that Larry Bird did, to his credit, and you tell all young players, Larry Bird in that series averaged a triple-double. He didn't shoot the ball well, but he had it's like 14, 15 rebounds, damn near 10 assists, and averaged probably about 15 points a game. So he was dramatic. I mean, the difference was game 5 that we played in Boston against Houston. I'll just go up a little bit. Was one of those games that had pissed me off. It was 2-2, and we came back to Boston for game 3, and I was heated, getting heated. And then
you mean game 5, right? We're talking 2-2.
In that game, they couldn't have stopped me if they'd had guns. I had 28 at 15 in that game. And I remember coming out of the game, it almost brought tears to my eyes. I remember Bill Russell was doing that game for CBS.
Oh, that's right. He did the finals.
And he looked at my stat line, and I was coming out the game. He said, and he was referring to me. He said, "Who do you think he is, Moses?" With my 28 and 15, and that was a key game. That was game number 5. Yeah, number 5.
Yeah.
5, and then we went to Houston and won game number 6.
What was the Garden like? Did you feel a big difference compared to the year before?
Electric, even more so.
Yeah.
But I think it was more electric against Philly. Because we won game 6 back in Philly, but we didn't win the Eastern Conference Championship there. We still had to come back to Boston and win game 7. And it was a dramatic, I mean, those last 4 games that we had against Philly, they were 1- and 2-point games. Even the last play of the last game, they tried to throw a lob play to Dr. J, and it hit the top of the backboard, and I knocked the ball up in the air, and the game ended, and it was just pandemonium. What people don't realize is that all the people ran out on the floor. All the people ran out on the floor. It was that, how now you got the NBA, they rope it off, and you can't do anything. No. These people, just as soon as that last whistle, it was like a mob of people.
That's scary, man. You must have been burned to the locker room.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, unreal. And I just think about some of my teammates. Chris Ford, he wanted it so bad because he was from the Philly area, so he wanted to be able to talk noise. And he was, come on, we got one more game. And when we won in Philly in game 6. I remember him jumping up and down, holding me, and just like, whoa, we got it. And the feeling that we had going back to Boston, but we knew we had a lot of work to do.